we talked a lot about the millionaire mindset, and I absolutely love this because it is so important that, friends, if we are striving to reach to that millionaire status, if we are striving to have everything that we want today, if we're striving to create the lifestyle that we truly want, and so it's very imperative that we learn about the mindset, what ticks them. And so initially I talked about, what are your goals, friends? What are your goals? Is it 50? Is it $50, 50,000 a month? Is it 100,000 a month? And what is your lifestyle? What is your lifestyle goal? And how does your lifestyle match to the figure that you derived? How much are you wanting a month? So $100,000, that's 1.2 million a year. That's 1.2 million a year. And times that by 12. Wow, you will be on your way. And so it's very important. Also, how do we pay ourselves? We need to pay ourselves first before we can pay other people. And a lot of people say, well, how do I pay myself first? If I pay other people, like as I mentioned, you pay your doctor, you pay your groceries, you pay your rent or mortgage, then I will have no money left to pay myself. So in that way, you have to pay yourself first in order that we pay other people. And then I gave you a glimpse into the life of the millionaires. They have no debt. They have quality time. They spend with family and friends. They go on vacation, they go on a cruise, and it's luxury. And they drive high-end cars, but at the same time, they are calculative with their money, and how they, money comes as a byproduct of the hard work that they have put in. And so they don't work hard, but they work smart. So friends, that is what we need to strive to do, is to work smarter and not harder, right? So they absolutely love their vocation, what they've chosen. They absolutely love it. And I gave you a brief insight into the mind of the millionaire. The conscious mind has all the networks that are going on in around our mind, and your conscious mind is your thinking, is your logical mind that puts to work. And then I talked about the millionaire. Is not necessary that a lot of questions have been asked, do millionaires have a superior intelligence? And the answer is no, they don't. But they have learned to how they can create the wealth. So that's the main denominator. They've learned how to create the wealth. And then I talked about courage and wealth. Well, you need to have the courage. You need to have courage. You need to take risks in order. So this is a calculative risk that they take in order to drive at the wealth that you desire. So they think of success and not failure. They plan ahead, and they are well organized to handle critical issues that may arise. And 37%, they reduce their worries and fears because they need to be productive. They can't focus on the deal that did not go through. They can't focus on the deal that was that could have lost. Even if they're lost, they don't worry. Because they don't worry, they reduce their fears and worries because they want to be productive. They want to scale their business. And as a result, they've created a lifestyle of their choice. And friends, I hope that this has truly, and so as a result, they truly have learned, to, take a lot of information, and we can take a lot of information from a millionaire's mind and put it and apply the application to what they have done, to what we can do today in our lives. And you can absolutely do that. So, I hope that you got a ton of information. I would love to know in the chats, what did you find of relevance, and what really stood out for you when it comes to the millionaire mind? What stood out for you? I would love to know in the chat. We would love to know, so that we could answer any questions. And so I just hope that you really go today and apply, because it's all in the application. It's not the knowledge that Ria and I are sharing with you, which is great, which is one half of the equation, but the other half of the equation is in the application. So Ria, you want to share any thoughts perhaps?
Yes.
Before we round off?
Yes, thank you for that, Alka. I love the way how you illustrate the conscious mind, the thinking mind. I love that diagram. It's amazing. Now, you also mentioned that 37% of them reduce their fears and worries, and they take calculated risk. For me, for example, and I want to know too from our viewers and listeners, if you can put in your comment in the section below, you know, how are you taking your calculated risk? Like for me, I'm taking my calculated risk by doing what I know. So I stay in my lane of expertise. I do not invest in things that I do not know of. There's so many investments out there, from crypto to stocks to, you know, all the other currencies out there. I stay in my lane of real assets, apartments. So how do I take calculated risk? Is by investing in apartments in areas that I know of, and markets that I know of, job growth that I know of. So that's how I take the calculated risk. What about you, Alka? How are you doing your calculated risk?
Yeah, absolutely. I take calculated risks. I mean, when I bought my second investment property, that was not a calculative risk. But however, the common denominator between a calculated risk and taking financial risk, I mean, that was a risk, because as an investor, you have to take the risk. You have to take risk, because without taking any kind of risk, there's no reward if there's no risk. And so what I have done for my second investment property, and everything's a learning experience. I mean, we always learn. We're always constantly evolving and learning. So when I overextended my budget, which is number one, you need to, as Ria said, you need to stay in your own lane. When you stretch out of your comfort zone, especially when you're a first time investor, when you extend yourself to the point that you have taken that risk, and it is a risk that then you have to learn, okay, well then how would I pay towards, how would that money, when you bought an investment property, like for me, I bought my second investment property and I overextended on my budget. So not a smart thing, but we learn. And so Ria, I've learned to not to overextend on my budget.
Well, thank you for that. You know, over the years, I've learned too that staying on the sideline, being in the safe side, not doing anything, is way more riskier than not taking any risk at all. Why? Because if you're not doing anything, you're just getting income from your job, and something happens, then if you are jobless because now your employer has to fire you because there's no, you know, income coming in, it's just like the pandemic, then you're at the mercy of your employer. You're one employer. So what happens now? You have no income coming in. So staying in the sideline, being in the safe side, is more riskier than taking calculated risk right now.
It is, absolutely. Staying on the sidelines